Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll continue the conversation about immigration, illegal immigration, and otherwise coming up in just moments. As a matter of fact, I believe that will be a conversation that comes up with our next guest. So if you're on the phones, hang in there. We'll get to you momentarily. If you want to join us on the super text line, please, by all means, 615-737-9986. Obviously, we're focused on Minneapolis, Minnesota, and everything that's shaken out there. There's a lot of national stories going on, a lot of international stories going on as Donald Trump is weighing what to do about Iran. We're covering those stories for you in the newsroom and here in studio. But there's also a regular session of the Tennessee General Assembly happening, and it is our privilege and pleasure to have in with us Speaker of the House Cameron Sexton. He joins us to talk about some of the priorities in the House and in the body, generally speaking, and it's good to have him in studio with us. Cameron, good afternoon. Welcome in.
Good afternoon. Thank you for saving me from maybe getting back into snow in Crossville, so thank you.
Oh, wow. Is it, y'all are up on the plateau, right?
We're on the plateau. Yeah, weather's always a little different up there.
Oh, it's my favorite phrase to use on the radio show is up on the plateau because the weather's always different on the plateau. Everybody knows it.
You know, and the one unique thing about Cumberland County is if you're talking about the plateau, it's a plateau. If you're talking about a road that's named the same, they say plateau.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
it's just it's the local way to do it.
I learn new things every time we're in. All right, I'm going to ask you to speak to this because your haters will get on me if I don't.
Okay.
There was a situation that came up between yourself. I know the guys that you utilize to drive you around from place to place. There was a situation that came up between you and the Metro Nashville Police where, and it was an unfortunate, I feel like it was just kind of a misunderstanding. And, your haters are saying, oh, Cameron, the rules are different for the Speaker of the House than different for the rest of the people. And I just want to give you an opportunity to speak to this issue. For those that don't know, there was an incident where you pulled over Metro Nashville, kind of got aggressive with your guys. Maybe they didn't know that these were Tennessee Highway Patrolmen. Just speak to this.
Well, that was the thought process that they thought. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, really, you have two laws in the state of Tennessee. One that was passed in 2023, one that was passed in 2024. A lot of people are misconstruing. They think they call them a driver or a chauffeur. That's not what they are. They're an executive protection unit. And in the state of Tennessee, the governor, the first lady, AG, Supreme Court justice, the two speakers, all have executive protection. And so that's their job. It's a unit. Their job is to protect. And so everybody has those individuals on their side. They're former highway patrol people, but they're in the executive protection unit now. The law in 2024 is very clear that no one can impede basically impede the duties of the executive protection unit. And so when they're with their dignitary and they're doing their job, no one can interfere with that, whether it's local law enforcement, individuals, or so forth. That was a law that was passed. That was the law. I can't speak to what the Metro officer was thinking, but that law, if they knew the law, then they would probably act a little bit differently. So there was no laws violated by the Highway Patrol or anybody like that. They were doing their job.
Any regrets on your part?
Look, at the end of the day, their job is to protect me. And whatever they feel like they need to do is what they need to do.
Well, the argument would be that the speaker's not above the law and posted speed limits are posted speed limits. And unless there was something else going on that maybe there was a little lead foot action happening.
Well, but what you have to understand is those laws do not apply to the Executive Protection Unit. They have their own laws in 2023 and in 2024. So the speed limit laws, those other laws, they have the jurisdiction to go the speed limit or go faster than speed limit based on what they feel like that they need to do. It's their determination in the job that they do.
And just speaking for yourself, just put a cap on it, that you would never want your protection unit to do anything, and you would never expect them to do anything that would endanger any other people toward that end.
No, their job is to do the situation, feel like they need to do what they need to do to keep the person safe.
Sure.
The same way that the Secret Service does, the same way that the military does for other individuals or other dignitaries in the state. There's a certain procedure on how they respond and what they do and how they go, and it's not my job to tell them how to do their job.
And that involves the Speaker of the House, the position. It's not about Cameron Sexton. It's about the position that you are currently in.
It's been a long history in the state that the speakers and the governor have executive protection. I can't tell you how far back it goes, but I'm sure it goes back to the 60s and 50s or however long it is. But their job is to protect. The laws are clear that they have the ability to do what they need to protect. and the traffic laws and other things. That's why I said they didn't break any laws. People can assume that they did, but they did not based on the state law that they are under.
Fair enough. Asked and answered. So I think we're just getting to the point. We were discussing this at length today on a national scale, and I want to boil it down, obviously, to the state of Tennessee. I think we're just – even a year into Donald Trump's second term, learning some of the damage that the Biden administration engaged in terms of illegal alien activity coming into the United States of America and right here in the state of Tennessee. And I believe that your office and the General Assembly, you're working toward mitigating some of the damage that has been done in this state. What can we do as a state to help assist Immigration and Customs Enforcement, help assist what are is the rule of law regarding immigration, illegal immigration specifically, and what are you planning on in the General Assembly?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Look, it started last year in special session when Leader Johnson passed a bill that allowed a grant process to help local law enforcement to be part of the 287G contract with the federal government to help ICE and others with illegal immigration when they uncover it or find it and work with them. We have, I think, close to 50 law enforcement agencies in the state who are now doing that. It's been a huge success. What we're looking at now, we're looking to add to that. And so when you're looking at what's happening in Minnesota with the fraud, a lot of those people are here illegally.
Sure.
And so they were able to get public benefits and other things that they should have never had. What we're trying to do is, one, enforce the law, put mechanisms in it to enforce the law that we are looking at here in current law. We're looking at preserving legal immigration, which I think is very important. People want to say that Republicans are anti-immigrant communities. No, we're not. If you came in lawfully and legally, we appreciate you. It's those who come in illegally that we're trying to stop. So we want to preserve the legal immigration system, and we want to protect taxpayers. It's important to protect your dollars. Mm-hmm. What we do know is close to $1 billion approximately is spent on illegal immigrants in the state of Tennessee. That could be going to a different effort. Could be going to education. Could be going to roads. It could be going to a lot of different things. But we're having to spend it fighting illegal immigration. And so some of the things we're doing is we're requiring that the state and local have to verify legal status for public benefits. That's housing. That's everything. It hasn't been done before. It has been done at the state, but not at the local level. If the locals don't want to do it and they're violating state law, then we have the capability of withholding state shared sales tax dollars from them.
Okay.
Benefits should be for those who are here legally and lawfully, period, not for those who are here illegally. We're also going to do E-Verify for all government jobs. Right now, it's not mandatory. It's if you want to, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. But we're mandating that the state and the local government's public employees all have to be E-Verified, every single one, every single new hire.
Can I pause right there and ask, and maybe you're getting to this, what about all businesses?
So we have that. I was heard earlier. We have it on the books now. It's like 25 and 50, depending on how big your business is. There's going to be efforts this year to come back on that regard.
Lower the threshold?
Look to lower the threshold. Look, I think the other thing that we have here is we also have a professional license. You're going to have legal status to get a professional license in Tennessee, which is something else that affects that E-Verify in private businesses, where you have individuals who may have a professional license, but they don't have to check legal status to get it. Mm-hmm. And so we're forcing states and local, once again, if you're having a professional license, you have to E-Verify or check their legal status to make sure that they're here legally. And then in the instances where you have a state where there's a reciprocal license, if they do not have check legal status before they apply it, before they can get the reciprocal here, they have to show us that they have legal status. So we're not going to allow California to give a license to an illegal who wants to come into Tennessee if we have a reciprocal agreement
that license
and not know. Yeah. So we're protecting ourselves from bad players across the country with that reciprocal license process. We'll also driver's license. And so what we're saying in driver's license is it's an English-only test that you take. Now, you get a one-time exception. It's only good for 12 months. What we understand is in Crossville, we have Stone Peak and Crossville Ceramics, which is a porcelain tile companies from Italy and Germany. Sometimes they send people over who may not know the English language, but they need to know how to drive. So we'll give them a one-time shot for 12 months, a non-English test. After 12 months, they have to take the English-only version. And that license is restricted in that 12-month period to what they need to do. It's not an unlimited license. At the same time, we also understand that to get a driver's license in Tennessee, you have to have a check legal status. You have to be here legally to get a driver's license in the state of Tennessee. Well, when you go get your car tags, they don't check legal status for car tags, right? And so what we're trying to do there is we're going to check legal status for car tags now. So if you're illegal, there's no more loophole where you don't have a driver's license, but you can have a car. We're changing that loophole, which is important. And then there's a lot of reporting and other things to understand how big the problem is, what the costs are as we continue to move forward.
I love the idea of continuing to have Tennessee as welcoming a place as possible, but also kind of pulling the honeypot away from those who should not be in the country in the first place. And if other states don't want to do that, that's fine. But in the state of Tennessee, we're going to abide by these rules.
That's right. Well, look, we're much different than California, Minnesota, and everybody else. And what's happening in Minnesota, what they're allowing for people to block the streets can't happen in Tennessee because we said you can't block streets. Them putting their hands on law enforcement, you can't do that either in our state because you're going to be held accountable and being arrested. So we're going to hold people accountable to those types of things, and that's why it's not happening here. At the same point, we're going to make sure that if you're here legally and lawfully, then these things apply to you. If you're not, the other thing that we've done is when it is uncovered that it's unverifiable or they're not here legally, it's a mandatory report to ICE. And so once we uncover it, we're automatically responding to ICE. The locals have to do it. The state would have to do it. And that will also generate some additional things.
I'm sure some of the locals don't like that very much, but what do you say to them?
Look at
I'm thinking of Nashville.
Well, what we're doing is we say you can't have a sanctuary city in Tennessee, right? We passed that bill.
Right.
But the problem is when they don't work with ICE, when they say, well, we're only going to work on criminal, not civil, we don't really care if they're here or not legally or not.
They're doing it anyway.
There's a loophole. So we are closing that loophole in sanctuary cities. There are not going to be sanctuary cities in the state of Tennessee. And if locals don't like doing this stuff, then they're going to have their sales tax withheld from them.
So everything that I hear out of Memphis, which has kind of been somewhat of a national test kitchen as to how the state can work together with the federal government to clean up a city that's had significant crime issues and significant illegal alien issues. Everything I hear coming from Memphis is it's working very, very well. Are you hearing the same?
No, we're hearing the same. And what you have is you have some of the city council and the county mayor, they have stopped talking about it. They have gone silent. And the question is, why have they gone silent? With the extra resources, the extra boots on the ground, they're working between fed, state, and local with their local city mayor who is working with it and their local police chief and sheriff who are working with it. Crime is at a 40-year low in Shelby County, Memphis. Think about it. 40-year low. You now have people who understand what it feels like to have freedom and liberty because they didn't have it.
Be able to go out at night.
Go out at night. You have a kid who had a bicycle in their house that they never rode because they were afraid to go outside. Now the kid was on TV and say, I can ride my bicycle outside, which we take for granted in lots of our state. So that's very important. The other important part is Shelby County is the second biggest economy in our state. Nashville is obviously number one. If we can get Nashville and Memphis up to where Nashville is, what we can do, lowering taxes, funding roads, will put us to a success level that we've never seen. That's why it's important to get it under control, even though it's a blue city and some of those blue politicians didn't want it. Mm-hmm. We cannot allow it to go down because it adversely affects the rest of the state.
Quick timeout. When we come back with the Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton, we will talk about the Education Scholarship Fund. Has it worked as successfully as Cameron had hoped? And what are next steps for said same? It's 22 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WT in a few more moments with our good friend, the Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton. Legislative session in process. And obviously, I mean, the big conversation is on education. It often is on education. I mean, obviously, we got to get the budgets through. We got to balance those budgets and make sure that everything's looking good. But education is a priority, as always. The Education Scholarship Fund came into being. It was, by every estimation, wildly popular, capped at $20,000. Mm-hmm. I think there was an anticipation based on the original legislation that it would be a popular program, and it gives you the ability to expand. Talk to us about what you perceive as the success of last year and what's coming this year.
Yeah, so just so the listeners know, there's two different types of education savings account. There's the Freedom Scholarship, and then there was the ESA program, which only applies to Hamilton, Davison, and Shelby counties right now. And so if you're looking at the Freedom Scholarship, which is what we passed last year, it was capped at 20,000 scholarships, 10,000 for a certain income level, 10,000 for no income level. There's a different priority system. If you're coming out of public school, that's the second priority after income, and so that's what they look at next to see who qualifies. If you're coming out of public, you get advancement. Look, when we passed it, we didn't know how many people were going to apply because we passed it before the application process was obviously going to happen. We had in the first day close to 35,000 people who applied, which was more than the scholarships. I think we ended up having 40. All 20,000 scholarships were received. They went to, I think almost every single county in the state of Tennessee had someone who had a scholarship or very close to it. People applied from every county. When we were passing it, people like rural counties don't have private schools. They're not going to want it. Well, we have rural school systems or districts that have 20 to 100 to 200 students who are using the Freedom Scholarship. So, yes, people were using it. Look, so we'll see what happens this year. I think in the first 2 days, there's already been over 50,000 people who have applied for it. Doesn't mean they're qualified. You have to go through the qualification process. So we'll see what that looks like. There's still weeks to go on it. It seems to be very successful. It's allowing people to make the choice of what's best for their child. A lot of times we hone in that it's just for private schools with academics. It also covers private schools for kids who have special needs, dyslexia, and other things. And so it does help them to go to those types of schools as well.
So and obviously it's difficult to ask the question prior to, but what do you believe you'll see in terms of expansion, the numbers?
Well, I think on the Freedom Scholarship, it's automatically 5,000 scholarships are going to go up.
Could it be higher than that?
It could be higher because it's based on what revenues put in by the General Assembly and by the governor. I think we're waiting to see how many qualify and then take a look at that number to see if we can afford that number or can we afford another number. But what it does tell you is that parents want to have the ability to have choice. I know there's some reporting issues that we're trying to fix to get through. To solve that, we need to change the application process to align with private schools. We're also looking at changes to the ESA program in those 3 counties as well and trying to do a better job of lining that up and expanding that program than what the current limits are.
A lot of my listeners here in Middle Tennessee have asked me to ask you what the states – we had this Columbia Power and Water situation. I don't know if y'all are aware of it, but what it boils down to in your world is whether or not we feel like we need to regionalize a water authority in Middle Tennessee.
Okay. Yes, sir.
And Columbia Power and Water passed something, and the City of Columbia passed it, where they're going to request to the state to borrow $500 million, $500 million, to build a new intake and to build a new, and it begs the question whether or not there ought to be maybe some more regional cooperation. Generally speaking, is that something that you would consider, and have you put any thought into it?
On the water side?
Yeah, on the water side.
Yeah, so when we had the CARES Act money and we gave $1.3, $1.4 billion to TDEC for water, sewer, and other things, one of the aspects of that contract was regional water authorities. And so there was money put aside for that. And in Cumberland County, where I live, that's what they're starting to do. And so they started with the Regional Water Authority. I think now they have 3 of the smaller companies who are now going to join. I think a 4th is joining soon enough. It allows for costs to be lower. It allows to share for infrastructure. So those are the things that we like to do. Right. I mean, look, our long-term success is how much water that we have and how we can continue to have growth. Look, people can do septic tanks. Sewer is different, but water you need. And it's amazing how many Tennesseans in the state are still using well water and don't have actual water lines running to their house. And so anything that we can do to harvest water, to have more water, to make it cheaper, to allow regional sources, to allow local communities to do that would be great. I'm in favor of building more dams and creating our own water supplies and working with whoever we need to on the federal
y'all
level.
Heard it. Cameron Sexton's in favor of the Columbia Dam. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I would be. Look, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we had a presentation from the Army Corps of Engineers when I was on one of the East Bank meetings, which was fascinating. And they were talking about how dams protect flooding in our state. And so the question is, well, then why do we not do more of them? Because then what you can do is you can run hydropower and you can do a lot of different stuff. But it's very hard to get the Army Corps and the federal government to approve new dams.
Because of the West Australian snail darter, Cameron.
I got it. But at the end of the day, if it's that good, if you're making the presentation, you're saying it prevents flooding, right? And it prevents this and it helps this, but we can also help produce energy through it. We should do more of it. And sometimes, we allow the liberal activists and environmentalists to limit progress.
Are you and a complete aside, final question, because I've got to go. I know you've got to go. The tunnel. Are you excited about the? I mean, I know the state was involved in this project. I feel like businesses and the local leadership, they're kind of slowly but surely recognizing the possibilities that exist. Are you still excited about this thing?
I am excited about it. I met with Boring this week. They came in to talk about how they're doing. Look, all these individuals, some of the liberals in the city of Nashville and in the state were like, do you know we have rock in our state? And they're like, yeah, we know we have rock. And I have conversations with them. What they say is once you get under the rock, it is perfect tunneling. Perfect. And so they think they can actually move faster.
They think the rock is better than the sand that they dealt with out like in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
right?
But even the rock, when you get under it, the material underneath the rock, once you get under so many feet, they say it is perfect for tunneling and what they're doing. And Nashville and Middle Tennessee will be a huge test case. They want to use Tennessee and Middle Tennessee to show other states what we can do. They think it could be huge. Just outside of what they're trying to do, they think we could be at the magnet to show.
But just to help people understand, there is oversight going on with your guys at the state level, right? Obviously, there are state officials that are overseeing aspects of the project to make sure that there's nothing that is going to hurt the environment or our systems. I mean, clearly there's going to be checks and balances.
Yeah, there are. I mean, look, there's permitting, there's through TDEC, there's other things. All those things are still in place when you're tunneling. They're just through the state, not through the local because of they're taking state routes. So all that's still in place. And look, we can sit in the Capitol when they're building these tall skyscrapers in Nashville and they're blasting out rock and you're a quarter of a mile away, you can feel it, right? Yeah. I don't feel them digging a tunnel underneath the ground. But are they going to protect it? Are they going to make sure everything's going right? Yes. Does Boring want to make sure that they're doing it environmentally sound too? Yes, they do. The issue is not what they're doing. The issue with liberals is who's doing it. That's the biggest issue. It's not what's happening.
Well, and liberals seem to blanch when things happen that don't cost the taxpayers any money, which I kind of like. I kind of like the idea that they're checking off the boxes when it comes to safety. The state's checking behind them on safety. And in terms of cost, it's costing us nothing.
Well, I mean, look, at the end of the day, the interesting about our immigration package, to close out on that, is I can't wait to see what Democrats will vote against saying that public benefits should only be for people who are here legally and lawfully. Right? That's a great vote for us in a general election in the state of Tennessee, as well as professional licenses, as well as driver's tests, car registration.
Do we have Democrats in purple districts in Tennessee anymore? Because it's an election year.
There's a couple purple districts. It depends on if it's a lighter purple or darker purple.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's see how those folks vote.
But I can tell you, in Memphis, with crime going down and everything going on, what they thought was blue may be moving towards purple because they're seeing. Wait a minute, what I've been told by the people I've been elected is not really what's true.
Cameron, always a pleasure to have you. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to the next conversation as the session moves on.
Thank you very much.
There's the Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton, joining us for 2025. No more. Thank you, Ken Weaver. Thank you, Jackson Williams. Thank you, men, for indulging me. I know I was a little bit late with the Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton, but I thought it was a worthy conversation. I appreciate you. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get back to your phone calls momentarily. It is a Thursday edition. We continue. We've got lots to get into. I'll tell you, I'm thinking about playing this Caroline Levitt clip one more time. I've yet to figure out who this dude is, but it is so good we want to do that. We'll talk about the Insurrection Act a little bit. We'll continue the discussion along those lines. Let me see. We've also, the United States of America experienced a net negative migration in 2025 for the first time in 50 years. That's good news. I have that story. 2025, speaking of, is the third hottest year on record. And you know what? I don't think it's so bad. I don't think this global warming is going to be so bad, y'all. I just throwing it out there for you. Plus, any thoughts on our conversation with Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton? Look, I know y'all don't like his answer about the altercation. For those that weren't familiar, Metro Nashville Police got behind Cameron's SUV. Cameron has, what did he call it? Executive security. These are former Tennessee Highway Patrol troopers that serve as security for Cameron as Speaker of the House. They don't serve because it's him. They serve because he's Speaker of the House. Speaker of the House, get it? I guess Lieutenant governor gets it. Governor gets it. Attorney general. Well, if we don't like those laws that give them special ability to have security, then we can demand that our General Assembly change them. At the same time, they have privilege. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of them speeding along the roadways in a way that might endanger other people, but there was an altercation between them and the Metro Nashville Police that it did not go well, and they have since resolved it. But I felt that I should ask because, well, I want to know the answer, and I want to know if Cameron feels like he is in any way above the law. It's kind of a do as I say, not as I do. Cameron kind of said that's true, that the troopers get the ability to make their own determination and decisions about how fast they're going to go depending on the circumstances. That was his answer, not mine. So you can consume that for what it's worth. It is 5:45 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Jackson, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What time is it?
It's time for Nincompoops in the News.
So, for those that don't know, in 2025, we formalized Nincompoops in the News. Thank you to Dr. Mitchell at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And we now have a trophy that is involved for the weekly winner. Ken Weaver won the trophy before Christmas, and he has retained said trophy since then. We use Ryder Cup rules on the Matt Murphy Show, meaning a tie is a retention. And so Ken, the last full week that we had, he tied and he retains. Well, today, on this Thursday, we have a tie of sorts of our own. As Ken Weaver won yesterday, congratulations, Weaver, for winning.
Thank you, boys.
I have won one day this week.
That's way to go, Brother Murphy.
Thank you, Ken. And Jackson has won one day this week.
Way to go, Brother Jackson.
So here's the bottom line, Jackson.
I'm winning today.
Well, here's the bottom line, buddy. You and I, the friend of my friend, the enemy of my friend is my, Ken's the enemy, Jackson.
ABW, anybody but Weaver.
Anybody but Weaver. Because if he wins today.
I've got a doozy today.
Well, I got a doozy myself, but neither of us get to go first. That is Ken Weaver's prerogative, and he has his nincompoop. Take it away, Ken.
This out of Houston, Texas. Jealous girlfriend allegedly threw 25-pound weight at romantic rival's head in wild attack at a Texas gym.
Oh.
24-year-old Erilyn Martinez allegedly recognized this is cop speak, the complainant as someone her partner was involved with at a 24-hour fitness outside Houston last week and threw a weighted plate toward the complainant's head, attempting to cause injury. She is quoted as saying, "Bitch, I'm going to drop this 25-pound weight plate on you," she yelled at Cindy Aguilar before the wild January 7th attack. Well, she was booked at the Harris County Jail and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Facts giving rise to probable cause suggest that alcohol was a factor in this offense, the judge overseeing the case wrote in an order setting bond conditions, according to Law and Crime, so she was drunk at the gym. Her bond was set at $1,000, which she posted the day after her arrest. During her release, Martinez is barred from consuming all alcohol, including, quote, any food, mouthwash, or over-the-counter medication containing alcohol. And here's what really hurts. The court prohibited her from using marijuana, possessing any weapons, or contacting the victim. Martinez must also stay 200 feet away from the 24-hour fitness where the incident occurred.
How's she going to get her steps in?
You know what? If she gets drunk enough, she might be able to throw one of those weights 200 feet.
That's true.
They might have should have made that further away.
Man, oh man. How far did she throw it, Ken? Did it say?
It didn't say how far she threw it, but she threw it, and, she called the girl a bad name.
What did the bad name start with?
A B.
A B, yeah.
Ended with an H.
Yeah, that's the way that goes. That's unfortunate. That's nincompoopry right there. Hey, Jackson.
Yeah.
You want to go next?
No, you go ahead.
Dang.
Jackson.
Boy, he's feeling it, isn't he?
That's confidence there, I feel. You know what? I kind of want to go with the deer got cut in half by the Tesla story, but I won't.
Goodness.
Oh, yeah. But Elon Musk has This is the reason. I'm not doing this story. This is not my official story. Don't vote on this story. But the headline was, Cybertruck slices deer in half. Elon Musk claims it is safer for pedestrians. I thought it was pretty good. But apparently, the guy that owns the Cybertruck won't release the dash cam footage because he said it's too much. It's too gory. But he hit a deer going 75 miles an hour.
Wow.
The deer did not make it. The Cybertruck did, and actually held up quite well.
Really?
Yeah, apparently so.
Because that'll total anything else.
Well, the Cybertruck did okay. The deer impacted the hood and the A-pillar, and it is the sharpest part of the truck. And it's the part where, it looks like the kid drew it, like straight line, boom, boom. And, did not work well. But that is not my story. My story is this. On Tuesday, January 13th, University of Alaska Fairbanks undergraduate student Graham Granger was detained after he was found to be, quote, ripping artwork off of the walls and eating it.
Goodness.
He was doing so in a reported protest, according to University of Alaska Fairbanks police. Granger was spotted chewing and spitting out images pinned to the wall. The artwork was made by the Masters of Fine Arts student Nick Dwyer in collaboration with artificial intelligence. Granger claimed that he destroyed the artwork because it was AI, and AI was, quote, taking over the world. Granger also said, according to university police, they estimated that at least 57 of the 160 images up on the wall were ruined. Granger was arrested for criminal mischief in the fifth degree. Y'all. So that's on down the line. I don't know if that's worse than the second or third degree.
First degree, I think, is the worst.
Is the worst, Ken? Okay, well, there
Did
you
he
go.
think it was one of them scratch and sniff paintings?
Maybe he did. Dwyer said he started using AI in his art around 2018, but had been making art without the use of AI prior to that. In his artistic statement for the exhibit, Dwyer said that his work, quote, explores identity, character, narrative creation, and false memories of relationships. Dwyer explained that he fell into AI psychosis, a troubling new phenomenon defined as individuals experiencing psychosis-like episodes after deep engagement with chatbots. You see, you folks thought that the dude that ate the artwork was going to be the nincompoop. No, it's this stupid art guy who says that he was exploring the psychosis of the art. I think I support Mr. Granger. Y'all can figure out who the nincompoop is in your story, in this story for your own self. But for my money, the nincompoop is the jerk that put this so-called art on the walls in the first place. And I feel like Granger, I don't know why he ate it, but I certainly know why he destroyed it. Granger is a student at the Film and Performing Arts program. His court date is Tuesday, January 20th. Jackson?
Oh, are you ready for me?
I am.
All right.
No, Jackson, we're not.
Are you sure? You sure you're ready?
I'm ready.
Woman tries to avoid arrest by defecating towards officers in Fort Walton Beach.
Goodness.
What?
On Tuesday, officers responded to the Palms of Emerald Coast massage parlor due to a report of a battery on a Department of Health employee. According to the Fort Walton Beach Police Department, the DOH employee was conducting a routine inspection when Fang Wang, a massage parlor employee, became upset and started yelling at the inspector.
Fang Wang is what she did, not what she was called.
Police said
Wang.
Wang tried to force the inspector out of the business. When officers tried to detain Wang, she started defecating towards officers in an attempt to avoid being arrested.
No, ma'am.
Good grief.
Wang was arrested for battery on a specified official. The Fort Walton Police Department said this was a follow-up investigation related to a search warrant previously served on the location when it was under the names of Blue Bay Massage and Spa, New Magnolia Spa, and Classy Spa. Wang was
Classy Spa.
Wang was present during each investigation.
What's her name?
Wang Fang.
I thought it was
Fang
Fang Wang.
Wang. That's
Thank
my
you.
fault.
Yeah, Fang Wang.
Authorities said the Fort Walton Beach Police Department Special Investigation Unit is investigating the case with the Department of Health and the Fort Walton Beach Code Department and Fort Walton Beach Fire.
If she fangs it, I want my money back.
I'm going to lose my trophy on that story. Dadgummit.
I told you I had a good one.
You got one more shot at it tomorrow,
And the
kid.
fact that her name is Fang Wang.
Fang Wang.
Can I tell y'all something?
First you say it, and then you do it.
I just read the headline and didn't see her name. Oh, I didn't even realize how good this was, boys.
Son of a biscuit eater. I need to look and see if the people in my story were naked.
I feel like that's not a real human. That's just an item on the menu.
I'm going to lose this trophy on that.
No, that's Wang Fang. Fang Wang is her name. Fang Wang would be her game.
Well, one way or the other, you ma'am, you cannot poop at the office. Ma'am.
Put that thing back where it came from.
Goodness.
We're going to need some wet wipes here. That's how we play Nincompoops in the news. Nincompoops in the news.
No pun intended.
On Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's a pretty crappy story, if you ask me there, Jackson, but there you go. Vote early, vote often. I would ask you to vote for me, but I don't think that's happening today.
No, not
Vote for
either.
me.
You got one more shot at it tomorrow, Ken. One more.
Oh, I got to come up with a good one.
Yep, 55 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.